Tom Dundon and billionaires like him have to stop holding cities like Portland hostage so that they can make a few extra $1 million every year.
For Oregonians, the new Blazers ownership group, led by Tom Dundon, won a $600 million renovation of the Moda Center in Portland. Dundon and several others are paying over $4 billion to buy the Blazers in a deal that's expected to be finalized at some point this year.
People literally sleeping on our streets. We need to be really careful about where we put our money, and I would love to see a real public-private partnership.
Events at Moda, the team currently pays $1 a year in rent since the city took ownership in late 2024. The city says the team did pay about $1 million per year in property taxes when it was privately owned between 1995 and 2024. Our investigation also found the team cannot begin the NBA relocation process until October 2030.
Zimmerman says he has those same concerns.
Why would we want to contribute to that equation by...
Proposal has no private component.
It feels like we're making a pretty big investment by staying here and paying these tax rates and agreeing to these fees for dollars that go back into the building.
The taxes and fees he's talking about are state income taxes and local ticket taxes fans pay. Those two revenue sources will partially offset the state, city, and county's proposed $600 million.
Ripping the proposal in the press, telling The Athletic's Jason Quick that the team and the city are very far apart on a deal, even though the city's first offer includes what the Blazers have asked for, full public funding to the tune of $573 million, requiring no upfront cash from team ownership.
Billions of dollars for relocation. Brian Windhorst says tensions between the Blazers and Portland politicians are escalating. Portland Trailblazers have a new owner, and he has done nothing but cause friction. And I think it's on purpose, because I think he wants to move them to somewhere in Texas. Where in Texas? Let's talk about it. Here we go. So when I saw the billions of dollars for relocation, I'm like, billions? That seems like a lot. That seems like a hefty number. But what he's saying, and essentially, is spend $2 billion, spend $1 billion, cool billion. I mean, who's counting? We're billionaires, right? We're just buying franchises and whatnot. If you spend $1 billion and it doubles the value of your franchise, because guess what? Franchise ain't going to do anything in Portland, right? Portland can barely cover its own bills. They don't have the $600 million to redo the Moda Center in Portland. It's old. It's the second oldest stadium in the country, I think. 1995 or something like that is when it was built. Doesn't that seem like that's fairly recent? I remember thinking, well, the Kingdome was built in 1970, whatever that was. Not that old, right? And then they blew it up. Portland Trailblazers have spent the offseason making headlines for reasons that have nothing to do with basketball. Teams around the league continue building their rosters for the 2026 season. Portland is facing a growing dispute over the future of the Moda Center. It's not over the Moda Center. That's not the main concern. The main concern is I think this owner is basically positioning himself to move the Portland Trailblazers to Austin, Texas. That makes a lot of sense to me. The dude is from Dallas, Austin. That's not that far, right? It's just not that far. I mean, in your private jet, I mean, that's, the amount of time it takes you to log into Facebook when you can't remember your password. Yeah, that dude has flown from Austin to Dallas. No problem. Conversation that started with renovating the arena has become a public fight. And I don't cover a lot of sports, but this isn't about sports. This is about a bunch of commies in Portland who I don't think will pony up to do a $600 million renovation on the Moda Center. Number one, they don't have the money to do it all. Number two, they don't have the political will. They have the political will to go out there when Antifa is trying to burn down the federal building and stand out there and go, oh, yeah. They love that kind of thing. Professional sports that make money? Hell to the no. They don't understand that. No. Craft brews? Yes. NBA sports franchise? No. Portland, Oregon has some of the greatest beers out there, period. They really do. They really do. especially if you drink Pilsners. They're epic. They're epic. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about a sports team that the owner is absolutely putting Portland through the grinder over the fact that he's basically going to pull this team. ESPN's Brian Windhorst recently shared an update on the situation, saying the relationship between both sides has continued to sink as negotiations drag on. Senior Blazers officials suggest the ownership is not afraid to explore life outside Portland if negotiations fall apart. It's getting worse day by day. The rhetoric between politicians and the Blazers deteriorating. Bill Oram got a hold of what he calls a top Blazers official. Okay, I don't know what that means, but the freedom with which this individual speaks, the kind of thrust that he leads you to believe, it's a very, very high Blazers official. Conversation centers around the Moda Center, opened in '95, oldest NBA arena without a major renovation. State politicians have already approved $365 million. Mayor Keith Wilson going to chip in another $120 million. Multnomah County is expected to give a share. Remaining, however, has been asked from Trailblazers owner Tom Dundon, who bought the team in August of 2025, just about a year ago. We saw nearly the same damn thing happen to the Sonics. And we're 2 decades later, we do not have the Sonics. I have to go down to visit my parents in Oklahoma City to watch the Sonics. Yeah, that's terrible. But you know what? You know what I've resolved myself to? Seattle didn't have leadership that would keep the Sonics here. Seattle got manhandled by some oil guys out of Oklahoma City that are now trying to build one of the world's tallest towers, 1,907 feet. That was the year that Oklahoma statehood. 1,907 feet. You got a bunch of oil guys. Those guys are just cowboys. This dude's from Dallas. Yeah, he's going to move him to Austin. He's going to move. That's my prediction. He's going to move him to Austin. Portland doesn't deserve the Trailblazers. Portland doesn't deserve a sports team like that. Seattle doesn't deserve the Sonics. They gave them away. Oh, we trust you. We believe you. Can you build us a stadium or an arena? No. All right, we're out of here. Going to Oklahoma City. Since the purchase, Dundon has maintained that public funding should cover the majority of the renovation costs. Because why should he pay for that, right? Well, it's your franchise. Yeah, but I don't know. I think you guys should pay for it. Otherwise, I'm going to move them. They're referring that to as a gun to the head type move. Yeah. According to ESPN's Tom McMahon, Dundon has also shown little interest in becoming Portland's community because he probably thinks it's pretty backwater. Bunch of commies. Good beer, but backwater. All right. Sporting world. Seattle and I almost said Tacoma. Portland are total backwater. Major rock groups are not coming to Seattle this year because expenses have gotten so high for bands to tour that they want to back up these concert tour stops in areas where you just got to go just a little bit. And Seattle and Portland are not huge draws for a lot of these bands. So this year, I think it's Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, and Iron Maiden all said no-go to stopping in Seattle. And Seattle's got a super rich history of, big, huge bands. We had the whole grunge thing, right? Jimi Hendrix and grunge. What more do you need, right? We're not coming here because it's a little bit backwater. It's a little bit wonky. You go upper left USA and keep on going until you almost hit Canada and you'll run right into the middle of Seattle. We're too far out of the way. Portland? I mean, you want to talk about a team ripe for moving and going to Austin? That's what we're doing. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek presses NBA to keep Trailblazers in Portland because they understand what a loss this would be, a financial loss this would be. But they don't have the leadership and they don't have the money to make it happen. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek spoke with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. That guy is weak. As part of her full court press to ensure the Trailblazers do not relocate from Portland under new ownership. Opportunity for her to reinforce her support to keep the Blazers in Portland. Yeah, but she's also walking around hand in hand with her wife saying Portland's great when it's just falling apart at the seams. So, you know what I mean? It's like, all right, you're talking, but not really saying much. Call in the afternoon of January 30th came amid a tense moment for the future of the Trailblazers. We've got a complicated multi-governmental funding package, roughly generates $600 million towards Moda Center renovations. And the owner said, yeah, I hope you guys can get that done. That'd be great. Then we won't have to move the team. But willing to spend $1 billion. Here we go. And he gets them moving where he actually wants them, right? Same damn thing with the Sonics. Howard Schultz sold him. Oh, you guys promised to stay in Seattle. I'll sell them to you. And he sold them, and then they couldn't come up with a deal. And multiple times need to try and put the money together to change Key Arena into Climate Pledge Arena. Right there, that's something that tells you where we're at. We're all about the pledge to the climate. I mean, nothing we're really doing is going to affect the climate, but we've got a pledge towards it. Just wonky, right? Trailblazers in Multnomah County are at odds over upwards of $40 million in business tax revenue. Okay, $75 million pledge, stack on top of that. No place like home. Local basketball scene. Believe we've got a lot of momentum right now. We have a WNBA team right now. Tremendous amount of time. Yada, yada. All right. Portland worries Dundon could move Trailblazers without stadium deal. Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon agreed to purchase the NBA's Trailblazers. Oregon lawmakers considering funding hundreds of millions in repairs. I don't think Oregon has the money in the budget. I don't think Oregon has the political will. I think all of this is, oh my gosh, are we going to lose the Trailblazers? Probably are. Let's put up some type of a public fight. And that's what you got going on. Aging arena in need of repair. Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon likely purchased the team, approved this spring. Some in Oregon are worried the franchise could be on the move. I hope I'm wrong, but this is why I fear the Trailblazers could be as good as gone, wrote Bill Orm, sports columnist, Oregonian newspaper in Portland. His column was a plea for state and local leaders to take the possibility of losing the team seriously. I think they got one foot out the door. I think they have no issues moving to a city like Austin. Austin is on the uptick. Austin has tons of tech. Austin is developing. Austin is in a Republican-run state at the state level. Austin is a liberal city because you got the whole tech thing. But at least you've got Daddy, Republican, running it at the top level. And you might say, yeah, but he's a rhino. All right, what he did at the border, I'm okay with that. Closed up the border, essentially told Joe Biden to go suck it, right? Sue me. So they did. Orm wrote that Dundon knows his new team's greatest value lies in his ability to move it away from Portland. Portland has no value. Staying in Portland has no value. It's not a value add. Although Clyde the Glide Drexler was unbelievable. Bill Walton, if he could have just stayed healthy, they'd have another championship, right? Cup. And then we had the Jailblazer era, where every other week the Trailblazers, somebody was getting popped with drugs or beating their girlfriend or beating their wife or stealing something. The Jailblazers were epic. I mean, they were like Dennis Rodman, but a whole team of them, and they weren't as good at rebounding, right? Portland saw its biggest NBA rival, the Seattle SuperSonics, move nearly 2 decades. Seattle still doesn't have an NBA team. You know what? Screw Seattle. Don't give them a team. You don't deserve it. You elected a commie. You don't deserve to have a team. That's, I used to be, I hope we get the Sonics back. I go watch them. That'd be great. Nah. If you can't work out a way to keep them, you deserve to lose them. And guess what? You don't deserve to get them back because you got a bunch of commies running your city. I think that's fair. Portland would likely have little chance of getting a new NBA team if the Trailblazers were to leave. Orem mentioned Kansas City, St. Louis, Louisville, and Vancouver as potential destinations. I think it's Austin. Now, here's where Blazers owners say he's not threatening to move team to Nashville, Austin, Kalamazoo or Greensboro? Media ignores him. He's saying one thing, but we were also told the Sonics weren't going to leave, weren't we? Yeah, how'd that work out? How many years has that been? Was that like 2007? So it's almost been 20 years. Perfect. Awesome. That's great. Portland Trailblazers owner Tom Dundon gave a long podcast interview on Friday. This is back in May. He genuinely thought towels were a cooler giveaway than T-shirts because that's how he thought it worked at hockey games. But he also said this: when I bought the Hurricanes, all I heard was because I was from Texas, we're going to move the team to Houston. Well, that's a pretty good indicator. That's where you're from. That's where your roots are. Why wouldn't you get things in your life centered around Texas? Moving a team is difficult. We didn't move the Hurricanes. We ended up getting a deal done. We went through the same thing in Portland. Before I even bought the team, I had an agreement with the city and the state. We had an agreement in principle. They've already approved half of it. Here's the bomb going off. Assuming that it all gets done, and this is a non-story. Assuming that gets done, you mean somebody else comes up with all the money because you don't want to spend the money out of your own pocket to renovate Moda Center? For me, it's never been really a thing. We didn't buy the team to move it. We bought the Portland Trailblazers. And he's going to come back and say, hey, I said, as long as we can get this thing done, we're all good to go. That's news, you think? Maybe it's not news. Dundon is not outright promising not to move the team if he doesn't get his entire $600 million in public funding for an arena upgrades. He's just saying, assuming all this gets done, then he won't. But still, it's useful information about where the Blazers owner's head and or leverage play is. Yeah, Nashville, Austin, Kalamazoo is not some hollow threat by a greedy billionaire. So Nashville, I don't see that happening. Is Nashville an NBA? I don't think so. Austin, yeah, I honestly believe, or Kalamazoo. No, I'm not seeing that. Not a big enough share. Now the thing with Austin would be it's close to San Antonio, right? It's like 80 miles away. So the San Antonio Spurs would say, oh, competition. No, we can't have that. Well, how far is Portland from Seattle? Not that far. And, you know, they've got a sports team. But you got a bunch of NBA franchises in Texas. And guess what? You could probably have another one. And Texas is so big and Texas is developing so quickly. And it's got so many big markets that I think you could do it. Portland's a little bit larger than Nashville, and its arena is only a year older, and Nashville likely doesn't have the stomach to give an NBA owner major renovation money right after coughing up $1.2 billion for a stadium for the Tennessee Titans. And that is what happened with the Sonics. We did the money for the stadium for the Mariners, huge stadium, did the money for the Seattle Seahawks, and then we got to the Sonics, and we're like, yeah, I mean, they're good. Slick Watts was good. Gus Williams was amazing. Jack Sikma back in the day with his two-handed set shot. He was awesome. Detlef Schrempf, yeah. Sean Kemp, the Rain Man, and Gary Payton. Absolutely. There was nobody better in basketball at the run-and-gun tomahawk dunk. But none of that exists anymore. You got to deal with what's in today. Portland doesn't have the political will. Portland doesn't have the money. You've got an owner who's already upfront, super aggressive about getting the heck out of Portland. What Texas guy would want to be in Portland? Right? Oh, yeah, love it here. Love it. Love it. Love Antifa. No, not happening. Love the LGBTQ plus movement. Oh, love it. No, not happening. Move that bad boy to Texas. Austin. Tennessee? Maybe. And then we go on. An attempt to move to Austin would likely have the San Antonio Spurs owners up in arms, and other cities have problems. Still conceivable Dundon would try to move if he doesn't get any arena money out of Portland. It's also very possible that if push comes to shove, he'd settle for less than the full $600 million. Or do we go back to billion for relocation. God, doesn't that seem like a lot? $1 billion. Is that how much it would cost to move a major franchise like this? $1 billion? I mean, I understand you got to change your address and everything, but $1 billion seems excessive. But again, you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar franchise, and if you can double the value of that business, and you put $1 billion in, seems worth it, doesn't it? Seems worth it. Poor Portland. Oh, poor Portland. What's going to happen? I don't think the Portland Trailblazers stay there. I think they go somewhere, whether it's Texas or Kansas City, maybe. Kalamazoo? Oh, you love that. The Kalamazoo Trailblazers. Make it happen. I want to see it happen. I don't think Portland deserves a team. I don't think Seattle deserves a team. Screw the Pacific Northwest. People just, they're too wonky, right? They're too wonky. Anyway, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks again for joining. Bye for now.